All right. So last week was sort of the final project, but obviously the course goes till the end of the semester. One of the things I like to do with my courses is I try to make them more front heavy, as opposed to having huge projects due at the end. Because I know other classes that's typically what they do, and what ends up happening is that you guys just compete with those other classes to try and get my stuff done. I'm trying to get you to do good work in my classes, but you have other classes do as well, and then you end up just not doing a good job in any of them just because you only have an allotted amount of time. So last week was more or less the final project. What we're doing is we're just going to do a couple of extra little labs. And the reason behind this is I'm going to show you this Adobe Express thing. It's not because I want you to use it in the future. It's honestly more because I want you to know what you're up against. There is quick little things in here that are nice that you can probably utilize to some degree, but you should also probably do things sort of on. It's better to use the actual software, and we'll kind of get into that as I discuss this software here. Okay, so Adobe Express. Basically, you obviously know what Adobe Creative Cloud is, right? It's that whole suite of tools. You've been using them for quite some time at this point, because you've made it to the i4. So, Adobe Creative Cloud Express is basically meant to go for what they call prosumers. And so the idea is really they're trying to masquerade something as professional software, but for consumers. Which in their mind, what it does is it will actually they'll get more. There's only so many professionals, but there's a lot more consumers. So the idea here is they're trying to create basically quick little automated ways of creating posters and logos and websites and things like that you can do using the software. Okay, so it's built right into the web browser. So I think it supports all web browsers as far as I can tell. So if you just do express.adobe.com, you can go in there. You'll have to log in. So when you first open up, I think it'll give you an option. You can continue with like Facebook or Google or whatever. They give you a bunch of those things, maybe Instagram. I don't know what all of them are, but you can continue on with using that. But if you log in with your student account, so I just logged in with my teacher account, my Cecil account. It'll unlock some things. So this is a free software, but they don't allow you to do as many things, or they'll limit the number of like projects you can do, or you can only create so many. You only get so many options for creating this one thing. Okay, so you should log into your student account, but just be aware in the future if you're not a student here, you can still get into this. It'll just be a little bit more limited. I don't find it super limited, but there are some things you just don't have access to, and they're just like, oh, pay you a subscription. I don't know what the subscription would be. It's obviously included in here, but I'm assuming that they have a separate pay scheme for this. Okay, so that's basically what they're trying to do with this. It's meant to be kind of a quick prosumer sort of thing. All right, let's get into it. So when you first go into it, you're going to see this thing here, and it has all these little pictures. I find this very confusing and not very useful. I understand they're trying to make it pretty. The easiest way, instead of doing, create a new project, and click on these, if you click on the plus up here, this is all the stuff they're showing here, but as words. And these are all the options, okay? What you are going to notice is there's two sections. There's create new, and there's quick actions, okay? I'm just going to cover quick actions. In this video, I'm just going to make these quicker little whatever. Basically, they are what they appear to be. They will just quickly do one thing, and you can read it, and they will tell you what they do, and then it will output it, and then there you go, you have it. Which is kind of nice, quick little tool, but obviously it lacks control. The big thing you're going to notice here is that you lack some control because it's more automated. The more automation you get, the less control you have. You don't have as much control, individual, detailed, nuanced control that you would have in like a full size program. So I just want to show you this because I thought this was kind of neat. So for instance, if we go to quick remove background, if I click on remove background, I'm just going to go ahead and browse an image. I'm just going to grab this picture. It's just a picture I had of me and my kid. And what's going to do is it's going to remove the background. That looks pretty good. I didn't do anything to it. It automatically did it. So yeah, I mean, there are hiccups. If you look right here, you can see little things, right? And so it's not going to be as good as doing it manually, but this is pretty, and there's like one right there too, but it's pretty darn good. Now you can click on customize. Obviously you can click on download as well. The customized options are actually pretty limited, I haven't played around with all of them, just some of them. Um, so there's like crappy couple of filters that you can do. You can turn that off. Enhancements, just the general brightness, contrast, sort of stuff, like make the shadows darker, right? Take the highlights, make them brighter or darker. So take that down maybe, and then I can put the shadow like that, so I can get more of the image back. And then let's see, let's close this one up. Then there's color, which that just puts the background. I don't need that. Okay. And you can flip it, crop, edit, yada yada yada. Right. So you should be able to flip the cutout so it does not you, but I'm not sure where that is. But anyway, so that's an example of them, and there are many more. So what I want to show you too is you don't necessarily save this. See how it says saved? So everything's saved on the cloud. This is the one area where it's kind of nice. You'll notice that when you have stuff, the settings for whatever project you're working on are generally over here, and then the overall project stuff is over here. So again, here's my colors, animation, background, resize, design. We'll get over to this in a second, but what I want to show you now is that now that I've done this, they consider this a project. So if you actually go, I'm just going to click back to here, back to like the regular thing here. If you go to projects, you will now see that that is in there, and I can go back and edit that project. So you don't have to save it or anything like that. It will auto save it. All right. Just make sure you give it a second so that it auto saves. But there are a bunch of other ones, and if you want to try and play around with these, like convert to GIF or whatever, like I said, I haven't actually done any of these, but just be aware that these are here, so they're quick little little things you can do. So home is obviously this page. This is the projects page. So as you make things, they will show up here. You can also share things, so that works out well. You'll see that there's a brand section, which is actually what we're going to do this week. I already made one here. Basically, when you create your various other projects, you can use this same brand, and it'll apply all the colors and your text and things like that. There's the library section, which you'll see it has the same libraries that I've done from previous projects and such, and so on and so forth. All right, so you weren't really required to do anything. If you want to just play around with it, just play around with these. You're not submitting anything. It's just so that you can see what it is. Just want you to know that this exists. And in the next video, we're actually going to just create a brand. It's going to be a quick little thing. You'll see it'll take 2 seconds. I just want you to really just explore all the options here, okay? But just play around with this if you want or not. I don't really care, but just be aware that this exists.